Let's talk about infant feeding preference forms. Centers participating in the Child and Adult Care Food Program, or CACFP, are required to have parents complete the infant feeding preference form if their child is under 12 months old. These forms ensure that childcare providers meet the unique nutritional needs of each infant and comply with CACFP guidelines. Here are the key reasons. Number 1. Babies have unique feeding requirements. Infants develop at different rates, so they should be fed based on need rather than a specific meal structure. Infant feeding is very personal to each parent, so when their infant is at a childcare center, they want to be sure their baby is fed per their requirements. Number 2. Documenting parental preferences. The infant feeding preference form allows parents to specify their preferences for feeding their infant, such as whether the mother will breastfeed the infant at the center, if the baby will be given breast milk, or receive formula. The type of formula the childcare provider should supply, if provided by the center, or whether parents will supply their own. The introduction of solid foods and timing based on developmental readiness. Number 3. Ensuring infant nutrition needs are met. Infants have specific dietary requirements that vary by age and developmental stage. This form helps childcare providers plan and serve appropriate meals that meet the nutritional guidelines for infants as outlined by CACFP. Promoting parental involvement is really important. It encourages communication between parents and childcare providers to align feeding practices with parental preferences, cultural practices, and medical needs, such as allergies or dietary restrictions. So, you might ask, if my center is not actually serving the food we purchased, do I receive funding for infants? The answer is yes, you absolutely do. This is a unique advantage in the CACFP. As long as the center follows the guidelines for feeding infants, the center receives reimbursement for this age group. Make sure you know the form's requirements, so parents don't miss completing this important document. Each state has a different infant feeding preference form, but they all require the same information. Some states incorporate the feeding preference information into the child enrollment form, as seen on this example. Other states have a separate infant feeding preference form that parents must complete, along with the enrollment and income forms. This is one example. This form must be completed and on file for the center to be reimbursed for babies under 12 months old. If the parent has completed the enrollment form, but not the infant feeding preference form, the center will not receive funding when that infant is served. That's how serious each state is about these infant forms. The forms are pretty simple to complete. Basically, the parent must write their feeding preference. If they will bring their own formula, they must list which type of formula. Additionally, the center should always reference which formula they provide. Here's a tip. If you are making copies of the infant feeding form, write the name of the formula the center offers before making the copies. This way you won't forget. Most of the time, parents bring formula or breast milk, so some centers think they don't need to purchase any formula or baby food. Wrong. If you have at least one baby enrolled under 12 months, you must create an infant menu and also purchase the items listed on your infant menu. You may never serve the foods you purchase, but you must have them stored at the center, ready to go. If a parent changes their mind and wants the center to serve the center's formula or food, or if they forget their formula or food on a particular day, the center must provide the foods listed on the infant menu. Additionally, infants progress at different rates, so one child might be developmentally ready to try a food listed on the infant menu, whereas another might not be. Menus will be discussed in a different video, so please be sure to check it out. Making sure parents complete the infant feeding form is another guideline that helps ensure your center maximizes your monthly funding. The infant forms are required, just like the enrollment and income forms. Period. No infant form, no money. Thanks for watching, and please check out my other videos with tips on the CACFP.